Our first speaker is Carl Peters. Carl retired from a career in manufacturing 5 years ago after working as a quality engineer and a journeyman tool and die maker. He and his wife currently live in the beautiful Foster Park neighborhood of Fort Wayne, where they enjoy the company of their neighbors. His time is now devoted to writing opinion essays for the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette perspective page, contemplating life, playing music with his friends, and working with Indivisible for a better life in the United States of America. Please welcome Carl Peters.
Hello, Fort Wayne, are you out there? Hello, Fort Wayne, are you out there? Thank you for being here. Today, June 14th, 2025, Flag Day. And today, June 14th, 2025, the 250th anniversary of the United States Army. Today, we join millions across the country in exercising our constitutional First Amendment rights of free speech and free assembly. Rights everyone who swears an oath to the Constitution is pledged to honor. And rights men and women of this nation have fought and died to defend. On June 14, 1775, the Continental Congress passed the following resolution. Resolved that 6 companies of expert riflemen will be immediately raised in Pennsylvania, 2 in Maryland, and 2 in Virginia, and that each company shall march and join the Army near Boston to be there employed as light infantry under the command of the Chief Officer of the Army. With this resolution, the Continental Congress created the Continental Army 250 years ago today, and it became the first national institution in what would become the United States of America. One day after issuing that resolution, the Congress unanimously selected the first chief officer of that army, George Washington. The battles of Lexington and Concord had already been fought by militias, and across the Charles River from Boston, the Battle of Bunker Hill would be fought in only 3 days. It was time to take a stand, and the newly commissioned Continental Army was there. A little over a year later, July 4th, 1776, Congress issued the Declaration of Independence to sever great ties with Britain, to dissolve a partnership that had sunk into tyrannical subjugation by a king wielding absolute power, cruel and unjust authority. Making this proclamation, there was no going back. With their expectations for a fair government, the 13 colonies aired their grievances, stating them clearly against the king, some with a chilling resemblance to those we face today. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for public good. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners and refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations. He has erected a multitude of offices and sent swarms of officers to harass our people. He has cut off trade with all parts of the world. He has deprived us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury. He has transported us beyond the seas for pretended offenses. He has excited domestic insurrection among us. It was a bold and amazing statement, I will always marvel that happiness is included in the Declaration, along with equality, safety, and governance. It may not be the first word that came to mind for those who fought and died for the sake of a country and vision they believed could exist. But make no mistake, in our deepest soul, it is happiness and freedom from fear that we seek. It's wonderful to see all the United States flags today. Our flag goes back to the same time as our Declaration of Independence. And like any flag, symbolizes the ideals of our nation. The 50 stars represent the 50 states. The 13 stripes honor the original 13 colonies. Red symbolizes valor and bravery. White, purity and innocence. And blue, vigilance, perseverance, and justice. What high ideals we've set for ourselves. And why not? Why wouldn't we? Why would we settle for less than the best in ourselves and our country? I believe you are here today because, like me, you think we can do better. That we're capable of creating a better country than the one we are witnessing now. If I were to declare my intentions as the founders did, this is what I would say. The individual has a responsibility to society, and society will be responsible to the individual. The strength and happiness of one depends upon the other. Citizens have a right to health care through national insurance. Its success determined not by the return on investments to shareholders, but to the health of our society. Education is not only beneficial, but crucial to individuals and society. Students should not be subjected to debt for the sake of short-term profit. Educated citizens so valuable to society, tuition-free public college and technical school education should be afforded. This will make the individual and society stronger. It is the right of citizens to live in a society of fair taxation, where those with the greatest wealth pay their fair share and contribute to the overall welfare of the society in which they live. It is the right of citizens to receive a fair wage for their work, one fairly proportional to the highest paid among their industry. It is the right of citizens to have free and fair elections, unobstructed by the unlimited and undue influence of money in their campaign process. Why would a society do these things? Because great societies derive their strength and security from their people. Citizens are not exploited for profit. They are not demeaned for their differences. And that all people have worth is a core value. There is an understanding that both the individual and individuals as society are responsible for their actions, and those actions should contribute, not threaten, the well-being of all. At one time, I thought I was a radical, but as time goes by, I realize I'm really quite conservative. I believe in fair and just rules and that no one is above the law. That individuals have a moral responsibility to themselves and their society. That fair and productive capitalism and creative business people can drive innovation and a higher standard of living in society. That unfair taxation leads to the downfall and exploitation of society by a few. That a strong military, unfettered from arbitrary whims of politicians, and free of political ambition, is a safeguard to society. That freedom of and freedom from someone's interpretation of religion is my First Amendment right. And that right includes not using tax dollars to forward religious and private agendas. That all citizens have value and should never be demonized. That artificial separation of people by race, gender, or sex is divisive. We are all human beings. We all belong to the human race. That we have a responsibility to care for this small planet we call home. To do everything in our power to conserve its beauty and life-sustaining environment. I believe in data and data analysis to create solutions and measure effectiveness in government. Not solutions through ideology, not solutions through dogma, not solutions through opinion, but solutions through mathematics, science, and logical reasoning. So here we are, at the crossroads of America and the crossroads of history. 80 million dropped out of the political process during the last presidential election because they don't see a difference in their personal life between the two political parties. 77 million voted for Trump, believing he'd bring greatness to a broken system. 73 million voted for Harris to ensure stability and keep a felon out of the White House. In my opinion, and you may find this radical, I agree with the 76 million Trump supporters. Our government can and must do better for all the people of this country. I agree with the 80 million who didn't vote. Neither party has greatly addressed long-term peace and economic stability in my personal life. And I agree with the 73 million who voted for Harris. We need security, not chaos, in our seats of power. But we also need a vision of the country that we want, so we can make that vision a reality. Not as Democrats, not as Republicans, not as independents, but as United States citizens. In the end, maybe what we seek is as simple and profound as that three-word phrase in our Declaration of Independence: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And by all means, never underestimate happiness. For happiness is the sweetest fruit of a fair and just society. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you at the next rally.